now turn our attention to compound interest. And this is a formula that you pretty much need to memorize. The A on the left side of the equation represents the amount of money that is in your account or that you have to pay altogether, depending on whether you're borrowing or saving. P is your principal or original amount. R up there in the numerator of that fraction is going to be the interest rate, and it's going to be in decimal form. T is going to represent the time, and that is going to be in years unless you are told otherwise. And then N shows up in two different places, both in the denominator as well as in the exponent. N represents the number of compoundings per year. Now let's talk about compound interest just for a moment. Compound interest differs from simple interest. With simple interest, that's just casual loans you make between family friends. Compound interest is where interest earns more interest. For example, if you start with $1,000 at the start of a year, put it in a bank, you might get $1's interest come February 1st. Well, when March 1st comes around, you're not going to get $1 interest. You might get $1.01 because you're not going to be just working with the original $1,000. You'll now have $1,001 that is your money that's drawing interest for you. We say the interest compounds upon each other. Okay, what about this value of N? If it's compounded annually, N is equal to 1. If it's compounded semi-annually, twice per year, N is equal to 2. We use N equals 4 for quarterly, 12 for monthly, and for daily we use 365. Even though there's 365 and a quarter days, if you take the leap year into account, we use 365. Now, as you compound your interest more frequently, the amount of money you earn goes up. There is an upper limit. There is a maximum amount you can compound or earn, and that is governed by this compound formula, A equals PE to the RT power. Let's take a look at this first problem. You've got $10,000 being invested, and it's at 4% interest for 5 years. Now, what is the N value? Well, when it's annually, it's 1. When it's quarterly, it's 4. When it's monthly, it's 12. When it's daily, it's 365. And compound interest, we don't pay attention to that. Now, we want to use this given formula, and so we're going to be writing the amount of money is equal to the principal, which is 10,000, times 1 plus R, which is 0.04 over N, all raised to the NT. Well, if T is equal to 5, you really have 5N up there. We are then going to use our calculator and substitute 1 in to get our first answer, 4 to get our next, 12 to get our next, etc. I'm going to let you do that one on your own, but I'm going to provide the answer here for you to check with. It should be, when you compound this once per year, after 5 years you earned $12,166.53. It makes sense to round to the nearest hundredth because that represents the nearest penny. When you compound quarterly, the amount of money that will be in your account after 4 years is still $12,000, but it jumps up to $201.90. Compounded monthly, it jumps to $12,209.97. Daily, it jumps to $12,213.84. Now, you could go from monthly to daily to hourly to minutely to secondly, but at some point you just can't compound your interest fast enough, and that's where this compound interest formula comes in. We use A equals PE to the RT power, or in this case, the amount of money is 10,000 times E raised to the R, which is 0.04 times 5 to the 20 to the 0.2 power, basically. Substitute that into your calculator, and the upper bound on the amount of money you can earn is $12,214.03. In other words, when you go to the bank and you take out a loan, look at how often they compound your interest. Usually it's going to be monthly or daily, but the difference between the two over 5 years could be about $4, as you see right here.